like a recipe. You want it to be just sweet enough, but you don't want it to be too sweet. As much as this looks silver, it's got a gold pearl on it, so when the light hits it, $1,200 to $1,500 hours for a new Liberty paint job. There's over 2,000 hours on this. You've got a really neat pattern, the gold in here, the flake, and then you've got another pattern laid on top, and then you've got the ghosting between the two and what happens when they overlap. So that starts to be very difficult, and if you notice, you can't see the edges. About not just using circles, that could just be kind of boring, but putting the other pattern within the circles. So stand back and look at it. It gets lighter in the middle, it gets darker on the end. Wow. You can see the big flake here in the blue.
Oh yeah.
So it's got the big blue flake. So again, you don't see that unless the sun's out, but that's the part you get a different story depending on the light.
Someone had an 08 Prevost Liberty coach and they wanted to get like this level of a paint job. How much would that cost to do a crazy, insane paint job like this?
Talked about the Artist Series, it's another level, okay? But if I do them for myself, it's just the Artist Series. If I do it for someone else, then it's Artist Series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever we're at. So we're up to like 9.
Nice.
Something like that.
Nice.
So you would know that if you're walking around and you looked and you saw Dean Loucks that says Artist Series and there's no number, that I owned the coach. When we started in 2012, when we started painting for Frank kind of comes up, puts his arm around me and says, you might want to consider getting one of these and join us at some of these events. I didn't know what that was all about. I didn't know what it meant. But I'm like, okay. So the first one was a 99. So this is 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Was a 99, and you saw it.
Oh, beautiful coach, yeah.
You know, my vision, again, is different than everyone else. Let's take this old one, let's do something that's never been done. It didn't have slides, but the way I was using it, I didn't need them. You know, go to the bank, here's what I'm gonna do, and they said, well, you know, I got depreciation. And I said, no, when I sell it, it's gonna sell for more than I paid for. They're like, it doesn't work that way, right? No, it works that way. So it was $175,000, sold it for $215 or $213. And then the next guy sold it for $250. It's a 99.
Yeah.
But it's going up.
Yeah.
And you know,
it's because of your artwork.
But
yeah. Dean has done something incredible. He took an 08 Liberty coach that was brown and made it look totally new. What all goes into taking a 10 or 11-year-old bus and making them look like some of the coolest RVs in the world?
Well, if you start with a clean slate, not a whole lot different than a new coach. You might have about, if you want exactly the same thing that we do on the new coaches, you're probably $4,000 difference because the way it gets prepped off. Because a coach that's finished, the bays are all finished the way Liberty does, everything's nice. You can't get overspray anywhere in the inside of the coach, so we really have to make sure that things are papered off a little differently than when they're brand new.
Yeah.
And there's no interior in them. Nothing's in the bays, all the bays are open. So, you know, it's not a whole lot different on that aspect. But when you take an older coach and now you want to add a new paint job, sometimes people have already spent the money on the coach and they're like, you know, what can I get into it for? So if we take a used Liberty and it's got stripes on it, we can keep some of those stripes and we're going to change other ones and then add the flare that we do, add some patterns to it, get the gradient fades going to make it look like something new. You're somewhere around $100,000.
Okay.
Which is different than $150 that you would have if we just take a whole clean slate.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple different buses. That red one that was next to you at Sturgis, I believe it was like a 2011, and you had done a respray on that.
Yes.
You just did a color change on that, or what?
Well, okay, so you're gonna have stone chips, or could have stone chips, cracks in some of the panels just from age, and so we have to decide: are we taking those lower panels off that get cracked very easily through years? Do we take those off, replace them with new ones? So there's an added expense. Or do we just fix what's there? Now, I thought I was smart enough with my instructions and my brain to figure out how to fix the cracks in mine so they wouldn't come back, but they did.
Shoot.
We have different techniques now that work with that, but I have to deal with it. With my own stuff,
Yeah.
It's just, I didn't make the coach, we're just painting it. So there are special techniques to hide the old paint job.
Yeah.
Because, as you probably have seen detailing, you'll get an image through, even though the paint's been cured for 20 years, once you sand it and you spray something else on it, that old image wants to come back and you want to see just a slight line in the clear. All it takes to remove that is to sand and polish it. So it's not a hard thing, it's not ruined. And we put plenty of clear on our projects to do that.
When you're designing a paint job, when you have a fresh Liberty coach, a fresh Prevost shell, and you're designing it, and you just have a blank canvas, do you treat that differently than when you say get someone with an '08 Liberty coach that wants to bring it to modern times? Approach your design differently when you're looking at the lines of. Do you try to use the lines from the previous coach, or how does your whole thought process go there?
Well, it all has to do with the budget. So if the budget is there and someone says, I want one, the best that you, something new and different. Well, now we have an artist series that takes it even above. We've only done 8 or 9 of these for Liberty Coach, where you get something special and more time than what even the standard Liberties have. I mean, how much you want to spend is what it comes down to. And if I think all the repaints, it's been in the 100,000. It's like that's enough to spend on a used coach. But what you get is some of the lines are the same, some are changed and then added. More lines are added to make it look new. Yeah. But it saved us some time because we didn't have to redo every stitch of everything. Now it's all brand new paint. So, but we have lines that we can tape off against because they're already there.
When I saw Dean's coach is a 2008, and there was another gentleman with a 2011 Liberty coach. They were side by side at Sturgis. I assumed that they were like a couple new 19 Liberty coaches coming in because it's just new artwork that I'd never seen before. So I think it's a great idea. Not all of us can afford close to $3 million to go get a new Liberty coach, but someone that's looking at maybe getting a higher level production coach can get into a pre-owned Liberty coach, and then if they really want to step it up to the next level, I think it's the way to do it.
The number of layers of paint, up to 30 layers, all the clear coat that goes on, and multiple times sanded and more clear, it's all on the old coach, right? Yeah. So you've got the new finish. It looks just as shiny and flat as a new one, and that's the biggest thing you see next to the shape of the coach.
Yeah.
Liberty doesn't like change the height, the length, the width with panels like a car, change the hood up. Now there's other small little things that are done.
Yeah, the front end and the rear end.
But you'd have to know the coaches to know the difference that brings. When you see a motor coach, a Prevost, the shape of it, that's Prevost. The next biggest thing is how we make the paint and we apply the colors and the contrast of the colors to make the coach look longer, sleeker, the detail in it. So that when someone sees it from the road, you go, wow, that's cool. But then when you see it pull in, you go up and up and up, closer and closer, and keep seeing more things. And then you got to see it in the shadow, you got to see it at night, you got to see it during the day. It's a multiple experience, and I like to relate it like a song. You got the treble, you got the rhythm of the song. So you've got things that we've all heard, songs that we've heard for years, and then you sit down, you listen to the lyrics, and you go, I didn't know it said that. I didn't know that's what that was about. That's it, all right here,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm just in awe. Now, you don't do just coaches. You also do other stuff.
Over the years, we've done helicopters, the offshore boats. But what I've learned is the world doesn't allow you to be good at everything at the same time. Even though we dominated the powerboat end, and we dominated the paintings, with the gallery and such, and we dominate now this. But in my mind, I thought, okay, we got the powerboat end, and it'll always be there. Well, when we focus on the coaches, like we do with Prevost brand, that goes by the wayside. So what we had a lot of, we do maybe one a year. it just doesn't keep coming unless you are out there every day living it and you're breathing it. And this is Liberty Coach, and we're rocking the world with this. So,
and I think you're really passionate about this. It seems that the Liberty Coach is really a passion of yours, and you really enjoy it.
Well, this is our house now.
Yeah,
this is our home, because we had the home in Michigan, and 14 acres, big pole barn, nice house, great, just everything you'd want. And we're there 3 months a year. And it didn't make sense to continue to maintain and worry about it freezing, and if a water line's going to break, the power goes out, what's going to happen when you're there for 3 months. So after 6 years of doing it, we decided, let's sell the house and let's travel more and meet all these fun people that we've met around the country this year with the coach.
And that's how I know. I met Dean in Sturgis, actually, and that's a big part of RVing, and we're kind of going off topic here, but I got to mention, we were talking last night about how, or you had mentioned, and it's something I've said in previous videos too, is when you live in like a neighborhood, you don't even know your neighbors, but like when you're in an RV
when you're in a
resort,
neighborhood inside of a house.
Yes.
You go home and you go inside the house, you don't get outside, you don't meet who's around you. Yep.
And here, I mean, everybody's very friendly, and just a lot of great folks in the RV community.
We're going to do it.
Yeah.
And we travel around and we go, so Sturgis is fun, why don't we buy a house there? Or why don't we buy one? It's like, no, we don't want another house. We want what we got right now. This down here is just perfect, the size we got. But
yeah.
We don't need anything other than the coach, and I've got the cars in here. I got my garage. If it storms, I just put them away.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
So, sorry we got sidetracked there. If anybody is considering buying an older Liberty Coach and bringing it to you to have a full transformation, exterior paint job transformation done, do you have any advice for anybody that might be considering doing that?
It's a great thing to do. I mean, we've done it for 3 of them. I'm just amazed that more people just don't get it. Why? If you walked inside of a Liberty Coach that's older, all the other coaches are trying to look like that.
Seriously.
And they're 15 years off. I had companies call me up and say, can you take a picture of the new Liberty Coach because we want to steal the interior design? And I'm like, what are you talking about? No.
Yeah, no.
No, you can't steal it. You got to pay for it.
Good luck. And while we're talking about that too, we're just talking about other art, and I've heard people just flat out say, I've actually seen people literally steal Dean's artwork with my own eyes. It's funny because I was asking Dean about that a little bit. Dean has the formula to create these. Now, you have a way, if someone was to steal your design, there's a formula to this.
Some people on our tour around the country this year, and one of the guys, that's a nice looking design. He said, well, yeah, because we got on Liberty's website and we stole, some of the designs and played with that, and this, he says this pattern and stuff, and then he remembered what my job is, right?
Oh.
And he's like, oh, well, that was probably your designs that we used, and it's like, hey, you can't do that. Well, what are you gonna do, sue me? It's like, you gotta be careful.
So yeah, all of Dean's artwork is copyrighted, so make sure you don't steal it, because this man has the formula and how to make all these lines work, and it's a lot more complex. There's a lot more complexity to it.
We like to say it's a controlled chaotic paint scheme.
Yeah.
So you get enough stuff going on in different areas, you're not sure why it works, but you love it, And the more you look at it and you study it, it's like, but the patterns, it shouldn't work together like that, but it does.
Other painters have tried to kind of copy what you're doing and tried to kind of go chaotic, and there's some people that have definitely...
There's a thin line between you went too far and it's a very small crowd that want something crazy and gaudy. It's a very tight line you walk between making that work.
Yeah, well, you're on the tightrope, walking way above everybody else, and just killing it. So, really awesome what you're doing in the bus community. A lot of folks like myself, we just appreciate admiring these beautiful Liberty Coaches. When one is in an RV resort or one comes by, I just absolutely love every one of them. So, greatly appreciate all you're doing for the bus community and raising the bar. It's an honor to be here, sitting here talking with you, and Greatly appreciate you. Anything else you could think of for the YouTube subscribers out
Man,
there?
I just love what you're doing, Andrew.
Hey, well, Dean, you're a good man.
Doing great.
Hey, greatly appreciate all of you watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more RV related content or meet more cool people like this. Hope you're all having a great day.
Thanks, everyone.